Why should I care about brotherhood, Zach?
Why should you care about brotherhood? Because it's an essential nutrient to your health and well-being as a man. Like, you can't be fully man. Can't might be a strong word, but without your brothers. We're designed to have brothers and to interact with them and to grow from them and to learn with them. And yeah, so it's essential. It's like water and food. You can only go so far on your own, and then there's your brother.
Can you speak a little bit more into how this shows up in your everyday life, or how it didn't show up when you not had that?
Yeah. When I didn't have it, I'd say it showed up as this deep pain and this deep confusion, and this real experience of aimlessness, of ambleness, of just kind of like bouncing around and floating around. Because there wasn't a place to go and find my own edges. It wasn't something to bump up against in my life. That was for my own good. That was for me finding more love, more peace, more awareness, more power, more purpose. So I would just, drift from thing to thing without anything to check me in a loving way, in a powerful way. The brothers offer that. Now that I have that, my life has gotten simpler and clearer and deeper and more vital from having the reflection of and the challenge and the love of brothers. And the other part, then personally, it made me love myself more as a man, to be actively then loving other men in a really true and deep way. Because I was able to see more of their beauty and gifts, which allowed me to relax deeper.
Yeah, I love that. It is really fascinating to me, because just the experience of hearing another man share a topic that is triggering me, bothering me, fucking me up, whatever it is, already brings so much relief to my system. It's already like, oh fuck, I'm not the only one. And there are others out there who share that. Maybe I don't need to be so hard on myself. Maybe I'm not such a big failure as my thoughts sometimes told me. And at the same time, it brings something that is distancing me, or was distancing me from others, right? Because I am the only one, I am the one. All of a sudden, it's something that brings connection to another man, to another human being. And that's fascinating.
Yeah, I still find myself unfolding into wonder and awe with it often. And when it will settle, when I'll see it again, just how profoundly impactful it is. And it's not always noticed directly from the experience. Sometimes it'll be this unfolding to all of a sudden I'll get like, oh my gosh, it'll just reveal itself to me. How brotherhood has shifted those experiences I'm talking about has allowed me to transform in all these really beautiful, subtle ways, and it has this little expression through all of these little just weekly, really shifts and checks. Communication, really, it's with brothers that are offering this type of love to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. For me, I for a long time I was very yeah, almost proud of being the lone wolf.
Mm.
You know, just, if I want things to happen, I have to do it myself. If something is important, only trust myself, then I cannot be fooled or hurt or whatever. And that was very fascinating to see that it's actually something that was weakening me
Mm.
because I was mm, taking on so much that wasn't mine. I was actually closing for true connection, and wasn't allowing myself to be seen at all. And I guess that was partly due to being afraid of what others might see because I'm spending 24/7 with myself. So, yeah, whenever someone sees something good in me, he has no idea. He or she cannot be right in their head, otherwise they wouldn't see that. And that was something that was very comforting to me because that was so long part of my life. It was a safe thing, right? Just I don't I don't want anyone to break in to this shell and all of a sudden have to feel the loneliness and the separation I was creating for myself. And it's so different now.
Mhm.
I mean, we are in a brotherhood for 1.5 years now. We meet every week. And I shared this in another short video. It can be fucking uncomfortable to be seen fully and revealed fully, but there's nothing more healing, there's nothing more loving, there's nothing more brotherly
Mhm.
than stepping up for myself in a trusted circle of men.
Yeah. I love the word that comes for me is it sobering? Is it
Mm,
just you get sober to the ways I'm addicted and drunk and high to myself, and so it's this real check on, yeah, where am I here and where am I in some sort of intoxication, so to speak, with my own being. And hearing your lone wolf thing, like what it really brought up in me was a lot of mine. Like I did the same thing, but it wasn't by choice. It was by preservation. That it was having men repeatedly overstep my sensitivity,
mm,
my emotions by doing the same to them, to not seeing me in that way, or if they did, to override or meeting it with force, or but not meeting me in a way that showed like awareness and sensitivity to what was here, and responding with love rather than with control or with dominance, or dominance in rather with control or overbearingness or belittling. And so it was this lone wolf out of like, the fuck's wrong with all you guys? Like, and for now, it's realizing there are lots of men who have that awareness, and the pain and the suffering that the brothers who aren't are experiencing that, and having a soft spot for them now. If I'm not a victim to them, they don't know either. And my awareness when I go deeper with them is they want that and they're looking for that too. And um, to me, is such a, when you look at the culture and the conditioning, it's such an unexpected part of it. But yeah, that just underneath a lot of the wounds is how deeply sensitive and caring and soft and aware brothers are, um, while still holding that fierceness and hardness and
mm,
boundary, that edge for one another. And
yeah,
that's what's most changed for me in terms of men, is meeting brothers who hold both.
yeah. Um, I'm going to cut this part out. Um, I feel a texture of we are not talking with each other, we're talking to someone.
Yeah.
And I would love to bring that back to us.
Yeah.
just feel in myself that there's this notion of I want to sound very wise.
Mhm.
I want to share deep wisdom. And for me, this has the texture of I need to convince someone. Um, and this is not how I want to show up in this movement.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm not saying that's true for you, but maybe you can resonate with it and maybe you have an idea for a different approach.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm trying to prove something, but I do feel like I'm less talking to you and more talking to like this broader audience of like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, some of the stuff. And so that's where it's fascinating. I appreciate the check because yeah, it's like, yeah, how I want to show up is for the individual.
So can I ask you, Zac Lyons, something? um, I had a long time this, I was totally convinced that being is being weaker. Uh, and it seems to have a different experience with that. Um, and I would love you to share a little bit around that.
Yeah, say that again, Tori. Yours was that vulnerability
When I
was
get softer as a man, exactly, if I'm vulnerable, people will fuck me over, I will be stepped on, and I become less of a man when when I feel more when I'm softer.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and that to me, that's just all the pain of feminine, like feminine collective, just in us, is that me showing where I'm hurting or sad or scared or vulnerable or unsure, um, is met with judgment in this thing of that not being valuable rather than presence, rather than an actual aware being meeting that and meeting it with curiosity or with direction or with love and something other than uh, yeah, that closed mindedness.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, how's that shifted for you from that space? Like what is unfolded?
Mm. Since I decided to step into that, so, or in other terms, connect deeper to my own feminine, it's not simpler or easier since then. Because I feel a lot.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it is so interesting because I was pushing that away before, and I was always feeling a lot.
Yeah.
I just thought it is a weakness. I always had the question of why can I not be as at that time strong as the others? Why am I so exhausted from all these things happening around me? Why do I read so much between the lines? Why can I feel other people so much and be way more tender? And this showed up a lot that people dumped their shit on me. And this is why I connected this week when I am feeling, right? Because I was made use of. And now it is so even the subtle things I receive. So there's way more information, but with this also came a stronger masculine, the energy that holds all of that, that directs all of that. And it is fascinating because the way into my deeper masculine was through my feminine,
Mhm.
stepping more into a healthy approach to feeling. And so I am way stronger in directing where I want to go with what I feel, what I allow others to evoke in me. So I have way stronger boundaries with other people, but also with what my mind tells me. When I find there's not just toxic stuff from the outside, but also in me, there's always a way to learn from that, but I don't allow my doubts to to fuck with me all day long. I don't allow the fear to steer my life long term anymore. It's still there, but it's felt, and it's felt more intense and recognized more intense, but it's also let way more directive. And so I had, I learned a way more soft and sensible relationship with myself, but also stronger leadership with myself. And the same is true in the relation with women or with my partners, for example, that I can feel them way more. I can feel their breath and their energy way more subtle. And so I can way better lead because I want to lead, not so I gain something egoistic out of that. I want to lead us both into something greater, deeper, bigger, more beautiful. And so I always have to get the feedback into my leadership of how the leadership is received. And the more I feel, the stronger my leadership is, the stronger my fuck is. And that is a gift I have highly underestimated how much strength there is in vulnerability and feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, when you say that, going all the way back to the start, like to me, for me, starting to have space for my own emotions and owning that didn't create like more chaos or make it harder. It made everything simpler because there weren't so many internal checks and balances and things that I was trying to modulate anymore. I made space for it. And then, like you said, it was actually this gift that made up my leadership, my relating, my fucking, my creating all easier because
Mm.
now it wasn't going through this giant maze of what's acceptable. It was just coming through this simple, what am I noticing and how would I like to respond to it? And so
Yeah.
to me, it made life infinitely simpler because I got out of my head and able to feel more instead of strategizing and planning and avoiding and grasping and those still arise, but with less intensity and with less unconsciousness about their, uh,
Yeah.
their aliveness.
Yes. And it's fascinating because I want to share that because I had this like 2 or 3 days ago where I realized I was holding back from my partner,
Mm.
right? I was holding back how much it hurt me when she does certain things, but also I held back how much I just want to be with her, bath in her energy, eat her, smell her, feel her. It's just, I was making this feeling smaller than it was because I didn't want to burden her with that, and I didn't want to, seem weak. So it showed up in a new context, but old pattern again. And the fascinating thing is recognizing that and thereby also taking responsibility for the closure I created between us two, right? Because I was holding back, she was feeling myself being closed, being not able to feel myself fully. So she closed down as well, because when I cannot hold my own feminine, my own feelings, how can she trust me holding her in hers? Right? So I was creating by not feeling this distancing in my relationship. And the fascinating thing is by taking ownership of that and stepping into, okay, this will not be, this will hurt me more, but this will also bring me more joy. And both of those feelings bring aliveness and bring trust because I am stepping vulnerably with a naked chest into this battlefield of love, and it switched the dynamic of my relationship immediately. Like it turned from talking a lot, discussing a lot, and you said and I said, and that hurt me, into juiciness, into sexuality, into her being soft again, all those things I was blaming her for not being or wishing her to be more. By taking responsibility for my own feelings, all of a sudden she became the beauty she truly is. And phew, that's really fascinating how much my own feminine relates to the feminine in the outside.
Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. Well done.
Yes, yeah, that was a big step of an old path.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I just want to celebrate, your courage and your bravery, because that's um, the shit that always comes up here that I struggle with. That you get to look at those things and uh, how do I come back and bring my truth to it rather than my pain to it, or with the pain to it, and
Hmm.
actually create an opportunity for something to shift rather than avoiding and blaming and criticizing and closing and all the things which aren't bad. Not to say they're bad, but they're just old patterns. And
Hmm.
that's I had something very similar, different, but because mine was I've been avoiding my partner sexually. It's kind of the inverse. I
Mm.
had I had been the avoidant one. I had been the one that was closed and disconnected and was struggling in that and wasn't finding what was here and was looking other places. And um, I finally sat with that and got aware of it and what emerged. And she did beautifully on her part. Then all of a sudden it was like I realized that I had just stopped looking at her and like looking at her in terms of letting her become new and letting her become fresh for me
Mm.
of like really taking her in. And what I do appreciate about her and what's also what haven't I noticed in a while, and what haven't I seen in a while, what haven't I heard in a while, what is here new for that. And it was so interesting because I was the one who was shut down, and then all of a sudden bringing this awareness back, all of a sudden there's just this, like you're saying, this ravenousness that came out of just like, and I said, I was like, holy shit, baby, like I just forgot how fucking sexy you are. Like it literally,
Mm.
it's like I went into a fog and I just stopped seeing and noticing and feeling and hearing these beautiful aspects of you. And fuck, I am sorry. Like I don't know where I went, but I'm back and have awareness of what that's like now. And please forgive me for just being unaware of you for the last couple of weeks. I know that had to hurt, and it did. It brought out real anger in her and this sadness in her, and it was really beautiful. But she was, fuck you for not seeing how beautiful I am. I was like, oh, thank you.
Oh,
Like I,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. But it was
yeah.
similar, but different. But it was so interesting how, yeah, I would say what I wasn't recognizing was my own fear of going deeper with her. And so I
Hmm.
numbed it and clouded myself instead of dealing with that. And it led to me just feeling unconscious for a couple of weeks in terms of our sexing. So really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Thank you, brother, for sharing that so vulnerably.
Yeah.
I really can feel you in that. I can feel myself in that, having done that, just numbing out or taking for granted uh, the God is next to me. Um, and I find also very beautiful sitting down with yourself, taking the first look at yourself, seeing yourself, and through that seeing her. Um, that's just amazing. And also, I love you saying I brought up so much anger, and I'm not sure if you said pain or something else. That was so beautiful. And that is, calling those strong emotions and those big waves of the feminine ocean beautiful. That is rare among men.
Yeah.
And I love that you are also in this place of seeing that this intensity of emotion has its beauty when you have the solidness, if you are the rock, to really be able to hold those waves. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. My brother, if you are still watching, welcome to this movement. Um, but here's something in there for you, apparently. So come to the Facebook page, join the Brotherhood, and share, receive, grow among men. Thank you for your time, brother.